If Johnny, are you available?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. Okay.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, as Dennis mentioned, I am Justin Ramirez, the product manager for ABP Technology. And if you haven't worked with us before, we are a specialty distributor for only IP technology. And as you'll see, that's exactly what the products we're talking about today with the Patton Electronics Ethernet Extender products. And it can really be used for any type of application. But just a quick background on us. We work in a variety of different areas. These icons represent telephony, video conferencing, unified communications, IP security with cameras and recording and biometrics, IP paging, wireless infrastructure, wireless networking, and all of the peripherals, the switches, headsets, things like that that you would need to build an IP or a VoIP communications solution. A little bit more about us. We actually have, this is real pictures from our current office. We have a demo room up and running 24 hours a day that we encourage resellers and partners to come take advantage of. Along with the webinars that we do, we also have in-house training sessions for some of our more complex products, which could be complete phone system certification trainings. It could be for, just like the Patton line of VoIP gateways, we're looking to implement that soon at the ABP office, as well as surveillance platforms and different things like that. We fully support all the products that we carry. We have an inside sales team and support team, as well as product management like myself for the different products. So we try to be as hands-on as we can to help you build solutions with these products, and that's mostly about the company. And just so you can write this down, after the presentation, if you want to get a hold of me, working on a new project or might need some pricing, quotes, things like that, that's my email, and feel free to give me a shout. I am readily available just to help spec out any new project, and that's with any of the conferencing or the products that we sell, from telephony to video to digital signage, whatever it might be. Feel free to just give me a shout if you have any questions or need any help on a new application. So right now, I guess I'll go ahead and kick it over to Johnny Grant. He is the lead knowledge and I guess product manager for these Ethernet extenders from Patton. So let me just kick that over to Johnny.
All right. Well, thank you, Justin. Okay, as Justin said, my name is Johnny Grant. I'm the product line manager for our connectivity product line. One of the primary product lines within my group is what we call our CopperLink Ethernet extenders. And I'd just like to thank you all for taking the time to hear something that's near and dear to my heart, as well as Patton Electronics and soon to be ABP's. I don't know if any of you all are aware of what an Ethernet extender is, but you know, for me, it is, or for Patton Electronics, it's our #1 selling product in the United States, and I'm hoping that these slides coming up will help you understand why it's so near and dear to all of us. Just a brief history of why Ethernet has, why the Ethernet extenders are as big as they are today. Is you know, Ethernet, I'm sure some of you all know, was first born, at least the idea was born in 1973. About 1980, it became officially published and named Ethernet, and by the 90s, it's, you know, started growing. I believe it's safe to say now that it's the most ubiquitous interface known to man. It is everywhere. In 2010, the market for Ethernet equipment amounted to about $16 billion per year. I'm sure a lot of folks have heard about the IPv6 standard coming. And the reason why that, one of the primary reasons that's coming is that they flat out run out of IP addresses. So the amount of Ethernet devices is just growing at an astronomical rate. It used to be for guys, they would figuring out how to convert their old industrial devices to Ethernet, primarily due to management, being able to manage these remotely. Now all these devices that were previously, where people would use devices such as device servers, are now coming standard with Ethernet interfaces. Really, the next slide is to give you an idea on just how broad the Ethernet interface is. You can find it on, well, obviously PCs, workstations. I was surprised to see things such as even now toilets have Ethernet interfaces. Digital scales, security cameras, door entry systems, these are all the type of devices that are sold by ABP, and some of the things that we're going to talk about today. So, what is Ethernet extension? Ethernet extension is simply just taking Ethernet past its natural limitations. One of the advantages to the Patton CopperLink devices is we are able to use the existing infrastructure, and that can play a very large role in certain circumstances. There are three primary drivers for Ethernet, the first being the distance limitation of Ethernet. Ethernet is limited to only 100 meters or 328 feet. In the vast majority of applications, that's just not enough. You know, we had similar problems back in the day with RS-232, 422, 485, E35, even T1E1. All these have needed to be extended, and Ethernet is no different. In fact, some of the first Patton devices were little Patton short-range modems. Another big limitation for Ethernet is it requires separate and expensive Cat5 cabling infrastructure. While the infrastructure itself, the cable may be cheap, the guys below are certainly not cheap. One of my favorite applications since I've been here now about 12 years, the application that most rings a bell near and dear to my heart, and certainly the gentleman who proposed the solution, was an application at Exelon nuclear facility. And they had to do what they call, or they had to change the core, and when they changed the core, each one of the workers carries a dosimeter meter with them. That reads the amount of radiation they take. The machines that they plug their dosimeter in, that'll tell them if they need to leave the facility or not, was RS-232 based. These were end-of-life for an Ethernet version. The problem that Exelon Nuclear had is they had RS-232 circuits running through a little conduit through about a 500-foot wall, essentially. The cost to redo Cat5 was up in the millions. Jeffrey Dean of Exelon Nuclear contacted us because he caught the twisted pair wording in one of our data sheets and asked if we could come down and demo a pair of Ethernet extenders to see if it would operate. And the answer that we knew was, of course it will. Well, this guy wound up installing about 18 different circuits, saving his company millions of dollars. And you know, it certainly wasn't the cabling, but it was the cost of having to rerun that cable. Since then, you know, our Ethernet extenders, the newest generation, also operate off of coax. So things that you know, IP cameras that were, or CCTV cameras that you want to change over to IP cameras, can now be used over with our Ethernet extenders. Another limitation on Ethernet is LANs need to be segmented. You've got this single link. You want to limit the amount of traffic on traffic that doesn't need to be forwarded. You want to stay within its own segment. All Patton's Ethernet extenders have a bridge function that will allow for that, keeping your primary link clean of the traffic it needs to have. We at Patton really define, see three primary Ethernet extender applications. There's Ethernet connectivity, which is what we call machine-to-machine. Ethernet access, which we consider applications such as person-to-person communications, and Ethernet networking, LAN to LAN. An example of Ethernet connectivity is really, in our classic M2M, is having a security camera connected remotely to the corporate network, and the corporate network having DVR or some sort of recording mechanism. That's an example of really a machine-to-machine talking to each other. So, access control, card reader devices, cameras, traffic control signals, railway communications. Those are all examples of what we see as M2M or machine-to-machine connectivity. Ethernet access, person to machine, that would be an application such as a guardhouse, where the guardhouse could have an IP phone that needs to communicate back to his network over a single Cat5 cable. You can do the 2174 has a 4-port switch, would allow you to connect multiple devices, the PCs, IP video, cameras, card readers. You can do all this over a single Cat5 or twisted pair connection, even coax now. Ethernet networking, really the primary application that falls under Ethernet networking or our LAN-to-LAN communications is campus building trunking. It's not uncommon for twisted pair to be running from building to building to building all around. We're now able to take that twisted pair and get about 100 megs plus on that twisted pair, setting up a high-speed trunk between the various buildings.
And, Johnny?
Yes.
We actually have a question, and Luis asked, does each flush need or use a host address? I'm not sure if you understand what the question is, but if you can address that, if each flush uses a host address, that was a question that we had talked about.
Each what? I'm sorry?
Flush was the term used, but it might just be module or device.
Oh, I'm sorry. Each Ethernet extender does not. The Ethernet extenders are completely transparent. They work off of a physical layer. They do not have IP addresses. I don't know if that's if that answers the question.
Okay. Yeah, I believe so. I think we're going to get into exactly how they function in a little bit, but I just wanted to bring it up.
Yep. Yeah, the Ethernet extenders are totally transparent, so you do not have to, or you do not put, there's nowhere to put an IP address on the Ethernet extenders. Okay?
Yeah, not a problem. I see what it was.
No problem. Some of the things, our newest Ethernet extender really makes us bring up the difference between upstream, downstream. While our Ethernet extenders are plug and play, I'm going to show you why it is important, particularly in the security segment, to know the difference between upstream, downstream, local remote units. Upstream is I find it easiest to explain by looking at it the way the average end user does. Upstream traffic is network traffic that flows away from your local computer, from your house, to the remote destination, your service provider. Things such as uploading files. If you're working at home, you need to upload files to work, or sending an email message. Those are examples of upstream communications. Downstream communications is the data you're pulling off the internet. Things such as downloading files or receiving emails is an example of downstream traffic. That's going to play a role in our video applications particularly. There's asymmetric and symmetric communications. Asymmetric's got real value on the Ethernet extenders in that the distance you get from an asymmetric communications is far more than what you'll get from symmetric. This is important because a lot of your security applications are typically asymmetric. You've got a high amount of data coming one direction and a very low going the other. Typical asymmetric uses that we see are digital broadcast TV, video on demand, obviously high-speed internet access, telemedicine, and security, as I mentioned earlier. Symmetrical uses are, our LAN-to-LAN applications, network backbones, various different high-speed data applications. Teleconferencing, obviously you want voice and video to go equally both ways. That's symmetrical. Each Ethernet extender, when you purchase an Ethernet extender from Patton or ABP, comes in a kit. The kit has a set or two Ethernet extenders. You set one to local, one to remote. We ourselves actually do that configuration for you. So the devices are completely plug and play, but it does matter where the units are in the asymmetric or where you need the highest amount of downstream. Local unit, you place the unit that has been defined as a local where the highest amount of data is to flow from. You place the remote unit, which really at the receiving end of the local unit. An example of that application is in security. We need the highest amount of data to come from a video camera to the monitoring station. So for an Ethernet extender, you would place the local at the camera. You would place the remote in the office. For applications such as like advertising, for example, you have several different monitors, and you want to, put your presentations up or announcements or train schedules. Well, that data is going to flow, the highest amount of data is going to flow from the server to the quote-unquote remote devices. In that case, the Ethernet, your local Ethernet extender will sit by the server, and the remote extender will sit by the digital signage. So that's how your local and remote are affected. In like a home use application, you would put your local at the service provider, and you would put the remote unit at the users. Are there any questions as to where your local and remote extender would go?
I don't see any right now, Johnny. I would like to point out to everyone listening that all the applications that Johnny just went through, and the cameras, the remote cameras, the guard booth that might have a IP phone or door access, gate access, or the digital signage video distribution that can go one way but not the other. All those solutions are products and applications that we work on, and we actually sell products that can meet all those requirements. So not only the communication between the two endpoints with the Patton extender, but also the products on the far end are something that you can get through ABP if you, I guess, haven't seen that from us before. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Justin. The next slide is really one to kind of take home. You'll be able to find this particular table on the Patton's website, and I'm sure ABP will have a similar table. It focuses on the primary Ethernet extenders that we manufacture. As you can see, there are various different extenders for different applications. All of them will have different max speeds, distance at max speeds, of course the maximum distance it can reach. Wires used matters. Wires used, we have our 2160 series is one that is able to bond multiple copper pairs for a higher bandwidth at longer distances. Yes.
Another question just popped up. Is local and remote like a switch that you can adjust behind each extender, or is one a dedicated remote and one's a dedicated local?
That's a great question. All of our, it used to be where, back when the Ethernet extenders were first created, each Ethernet extender was specific. It was actually a hardware difference. Today, I believe actually with all of our Ethernet extenders, they are all dip switch configurable. When we ship out a kit, we already select or do the dip switch for you, local and remote. So when you take it out, you'll see the unit underneath will be marked either local or remote. So it is, in fact, already done for you, but you do have the option of being able to go under the cover. Each one of our products have dip switch configurations. We find those much easier to do in the field than having to get your computer out and do configurations through a console port. But we do have a dip switch located underneath the unit, underneath the panel, that can be flipped to either local or remote. So it is either dip switch configurable, but the kits will come already pre-configured for you.
Okay, great.
So in effect, it is the same modem.
Okay, and so there are several models listed here, and as you mentioned, they all have different speed capabilities, distance as well, but you can see the different types of choices and options there are to fit any kind of customer need. So really, any application for Ethernet extension is covered by the Patton product lineup.
Thank you. Yep, that is very accurate. We are very thorough with our Ethernet extender line, and it continues to grow every year. We add about 1 to 2 products just to cover every niche imaginable.
Okay, and we have another question. It says, what about DTE, DCE orientation? How is that handled?
There is no DC, DTE. It's all in the local remote setting. It's Ethernet. It's not like our classic in industrial modems where you had to have a DCE plug into a DTE device. We don't have that. Ethernet extenders are very simple. You have a local and a remote. You plug in the Ethernet device that you want to reach on one side. Yep. You plug in the cable between the two, and you plug in the other Ethernet extender into, say, your switch or whatever you've got, your network, your router, your PC.
Okay.
So there is no DC-DT configurations.
All right, and I guess since we're looking at this chart, we have a question is, do you have a chart that shows expected drop-off in rates at various lengths for up and downstream?
Yes, we do. That can be found on the individual web pages.
Okay.
That chart would be so incredibly astronomical, I could never put it on a slide. Oh,
I see.
We cover we do cover each one of those, and
okay.
Some of them are even detailed into the gauge of wire used.
Wow, okay. And there is a product selection tool on the Patton website that's very good to use when determining if I need a product that goes over this type of media interface for this distance or this speed, or if I need a rugged option for cold or hot temperatures. There's a very good selection tool, and that will also lead you to the appropriate pages to find that information that you're requesting. But good question.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. I think, Justin, actually you covered this a little bit already. Our Ethernet extenders do come in 3 form factors. The first variant being what I call our office Ethernet extenders, or our desktop. These desktop units, you'll notice that this is anybody who's familiar with Patton product is, I'm sure, familiar with the old style ribs cases. We have gone to a new enclosure, the 2174. Our newest Ethernet extender is the first to utilize this case in my product line. I believe a couple of our smart nodes have already used this case. But we find that the desktop typical office extender fits within that 0 to 50 degrees C. At least I'm sure anybody who's working in that office would hope so. The new enclosure does allow it to be wall mounted. There are wall mount holes below. And it is not control. It is meant to go into a controlled environment. We do not protect from the elements such as, dust or rain or sleet or anything like that, because we're expecting it to be in a controlled temperature and elemental condition. The next form factor we have is a ruggedized. This is more so our industrial Ethernet extenders. The product range is anywhere from -10 to 70 degrees C, or can handle from -40 to 85 degrees C. There are different options on the different products. You can see the flanges to the left and right of this model, which is the 2173R. Those are for wall mounts. We also have little accessories that can screw into the flanges that allow you to mount onto a DIN rail, which is very, very typical in the industrial applications. These themselves are still not devices that are protected from the elements. They are in a metal enclosure. They are more ruggedized. We do offer a few of these in what we call a conformal coated design, so it will protect you from humidity. But the product that really protects from the elements and is a product that can be installed outside is what we call our EnviroNet. Our EnviroNet is rated from -40 to 85 C. We have options for pole mounting or wall mounting. And these, like I said, these boxes can be installed outdoors. The enclosure shown on this slide is actually for NEMA 3 application. So it will protect from dust, sleet, rain, all those basic elements. Our latest installation of an EnviroNet Ethernet extender is at a Alaskan pipeline. They wanted to put security cameras out there just to monitor the pipeline and make sure, nobody's, I guess, causing issues with the pipeline. We have a couple of these Ethernet extenders sitting out there monitoring them. Some of the other applications that we've had these is actually oil and gas exploring, like the platforms. We've done a couple installs with both voice over IP and Ethernet extenders inside our EnviroNet case. So this is our answer to the outdoor, the rugged, when you got to get your Ethernet where Ethernet typically would not go.
Okay, and we have another question. It says, all Ethernet extenders have a special protection for any ESD event over the cable. If this one is installed in an outdoor environment?
Yes. If I understand the question, yes, all Ethernet extenders are protected. You have to meet different classes depending on where they're located. But yes, all of our Ethernet extenders are protected from this.
Okay.
Each one of the furthermore, we do put surge suppression on each one of the copper link lines. The copper link lines are also isolated, optically isolated. Or I'm sorry, transformer isolation is what we use on the copper link Ethernet.
All right, and another question that we have is, does it support any PoE or SNMP?
PoE is coming. PoE is coming. There's that we're really expecting that to be a late Q1 release, where what we found in the general questionnaires that I've put out is looking at the value of an Ethernet extender that just provides PoE versus an Ethernet extender that's able to remotely power itself and provide PoE. We wanted to spend the additional time to do the remote powered PoE Ethernet extender. The reason being really is, if you don't have a power source remotely to plug in the extender, you have nothing to inject the PoE on. So the short answer is yes, we will be releasing it, but we do not currently have a version to do that. That will fall into the same form factor as the 2174.
Okay, great. And I think there is an option. We'll show that in an application diagram later, where power can be given to PoE products, and we'll get into that in just a little bit later.
Yeah, there's certainly a solution for it. In fact, the Alaskan Pipeline application that I did, we actually put a industrial rated PoE injector into the Environet box along with an Ethernet extender, because the cameras being used were PoE. So there's certainly a workaround to the PoE. We're just trying to make it as simple as possible for our customers and building it in. So yep, there are solutions, certainly. I'm covering out of all the products, we have at least, I'd say maybe 15, 20 different variants on our Ethernet extenders. In this presentation, I'm really covering two, and these are two that you'll readily find at ABP. The first is our model 2174. This is our newest Ethernet extender that just started shipping about 2 days ago now. The 2174 is our fastest Ethernet extender. Its downstream rates are capable of up to 168 meg. That's line rates. One of the coolest things for me is this device will operate over coax, over ordinary voice grade twisted pair, just really the old twisted pair that ran RS-232, 422, 485. We're able to operate off of that. And of course, twisted pair, Cat5 is twisted pair. We can operate off of the Cat5, Cat6, Cat7 cabling. In fact, you'll get slightly better results than what our tables will show you over Category 5. The 2174 is capable of speed or distances up to 3 kilometers or 1.8 miles. The 2174s and all our Ethernet extenders are transparent to higher layer protocols. That includes video compression schemes. The Ethernet extenders do not care. They're going to transparently pass the data. For them, it's just Ethernet. 2174, like all of our Ethernet extenders, have bridges built in. They can be configured as either remote or local Ethernet extenders. And that's using in-band management by flipping the dip switch. One Ethernet extender is telling the other that it is the local and you are, or it is the local and you are the remote. All of our products have LEDs so that you can monitor power, link status, and Ethernet link and activity. You will not look at our Ethernet extender and wonder if it's working. We put the LEDs on. There is a 4-port switch built into the 10100 base, or there is a built-in switch built into the 2174. It's a 4-port switch, auto sensing 10100 base T, full or half duplex. All of our, these Ethernet extenders are plug and play. I believe all of our Ethernet extenders are real simple devices to use. The other Ethernet extender that we really call the Ethernet booster is the CopperLink Model 2110. This one is different than most of our other Ethernet extenders in the fact that it does not have to operate in pairs. It is essentially just an Ethernet booster. It is going to double the standard Ethernet distance of 100 or 328 feet or 100 meters to 200 meters, 656 feet. It is, in fact, repeating your Ethernet signal. It has to operate over Cat5. So once again, that's different than most of our Ethernet extenders. They are very handy in applications where you're just a little bit beyond Ethernet spec. You're having some problems and loss of communication. You pop on a 2110, and it will clear that up, as we are regenerating your Ethernet signal to double your distance. There is absolutely no configuration. There's no local remote switch. There's nothing at all. These are just an inline booster. Very simple to use.
Yeah, and very competitively priced from ABP. These are a great price that you can use in series. So it's a great product with that you can easily and for a low cost implement Ethernet extension of Cat5.
All right, we have a whole lot of users use some of the, I'd say the biggest application we have with the 2110s, the most we sell are with in conjunction with voice over IP phones. It's a very, very popular device for that. We have 3 versions of the 2110. The one shown is the 2110 EUI. That one requires power to operate. We have 2 other versions, which I'll cover in applications, called the 2110P and the 2110 PSE. The 2110P is our most popular model because not only will it extend your Ethernet, but it will also pass on your PoE and take power from the PoE switch if that's what you're using. You're able to actually put, with all the 2110s, you can put multiples in line up to about 6 to extend your Ethernet repeatedly. But really the most common application is, okay, I got to go a couple, I've got 50, 100 more feet to extend my Ethernet. Plug one of these in midline. If you're using a PoE switch, it's great because you don't require any power. You're going to not only pass the PoE, but repeat your Ethernet signal and give you a better connection on the remote device. The 2110 PSE is, or the 2110 is also available in a PSE form factor, where you would plug in your 2110. You would plug in standard Ethernet, non-PoE Ethernet, and we in effect become a PoE injector. So once again, we're not just a PoE injector. We will not only add the power, but we will double the distance of Ethernet. So it's not just a standard injector. I want to show it like a brief example of like how how we would fit into ABP's product offering. I was looking around for applications. I was like, all right, now how would we tie it all together? And I was thinking of our own office and what would go into, say, a lobby. As you can see on the right side of the diagram is a CopperLink 2174. You would take your Ethernet from your switch closet into a model 2174. You could go just a single port. You plug in the 2174 and see that the red lines and dots are plugging in power. Go over copper or coax or Cat5 to a remote 2174. Off of that remote 2174, you can plug into various different devices. What we show here is to the far left, going into a Basler IP camera. The question came up of PoE. We ourselves have our 2110 PSE, which acts as an injector. So you would take a standard Ethernet cable out of the 2174 into a 2110 PSE PoE injector and pass your Ethernet and power to the IP camera. We have another link to 2N's Helios entry device. You can see a small little device at the door where not only or somebody can make a I believe it's a little phone, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's a door entry system. It's a SIP video device. So at the door, you could power it with external power supply or PoE, as with most of our products. And this is one that can be remotely in a guard station outside of the building. So it can be done in a variety of ways. But this will pass a VoIP call, and with the right model, even video back to the local, where an IP video phone might be receiving the video call from the door. And then you would allow access with a DTMF, and it triggers the door lock to open. That's just one of our door access devices. I mean, we have biometric ones as well, and that ties very well into the cameras. The cameras, most of our cameras are SIP capable as well, so that they can all register to an IP phone system while maintaining their power and network connectivity using any of the options shown in the diagram right here.
Right. And two of the other devices is the Cable Times IP TV receiver and media player.
Right.
That's Ethernet enabled. It can either be powered via PoE or into your standard outlet.
Right, and then with that type of solution, you would really want to pair the right Ethernet extender, because you are going to have a lot of one-way traffic on the data side. That set-top box might be decoding live video from a cable or satellite box or from a computer, whatever content or source it might be, and then showing its video distribution over Ethernet. But then it's really over traditional legacy wiring, so it's a huge cost savings for that type of setup. And the other product that's shown here is a ceiling speaker, a SIP IP paging device, and we have a couple from CyberData and 2N that you could do paging and zoning. So multiple speakers in your office, they can be zoned off, and you can make specific broadcast messages or announcements, even though they're getting their network connectivity over the existing wiring that might be in the building. And that's really comes up quite a bit, because most people don't want to replace the existing wiring all through the ceiling tile in a install already. So these are very common, very good applications where you can utilize the 2174 with the 4 network ports on it using existing traditional wiring.
Right. And one of the additional things that the Ethernet extenders, by being able to utilize existing infrastructure, is one of the other costs that may not come up but can be quite huge is downtime. it's virtually instantaneous by popping in an extender on each side to be able to get your connectivity. So that in itself is can be quite a cost savings.
Okay, great.
All right. I wanted to put these two in. For those who don't know Patton, we are a family company, family owned. We now have three brothers who work in the central office. While we, I guess the best way to say it is, being that these guys we're a family-owned company, really that relationship is brought to all of our customers, channel partners, and even the employees. I think that it's unique to this industry. We treat our customers like their family. We have a high regards for customer service. One of the main reasons I've been at Patton Electronics for 12 years. Patton Electronics has had 27 years of experience in the data communications field. Started with little data taps and gener changers down in the basement to now doing systems such as visuality. We've grown a lot, but really the pushing limitations of the various different communications protocol has been a specialty of Patton for a long time. Patton engineered quality, what does that mean to you? Well, many companies, certainly in our field, take reference designs from chipset vendors and turn it straight out and give you a product. We don't do that. No, we don't just take reference designs. We make them better. We spend a considerable amount of time optimizing our products for you. Our products are made here in Gaithersburg, Maryland, so we're proudly made in the USA. I love having both our manufacturing and engineering here in the U.S. It's very useful for our customers because your feedback goes direct to both our engineering and our manufacturing. We're always, as product line managers, able to keep a constant eye on our product, see it built, talk to the folks in the back building the product when we need to make quick changes. We're very good at the left and right twist ideas that our customers come up with to best suit their applications. I really consider our customer service unrivaled. That goes back to really being a family-owned company. We treat all of our customers and partners like they're our family. Patton has several offices all around the world. Goes to our global reach, our local presence. We have offices in India, Hungary, Switzerland, the PACRAM, I believe it's in Vietnam, Patton Middle East. We've got, I believe, about 6 different offices all around the world, which obviously makes it much easier for us to provide our tech support in over a dozen languages. So we support our product fully in any language you need.
Okay, awesome.
If I had to ask people to remember what Ethernet extenders are, really this slide summarizes it for you. Our CopperLink Ethernet extenders, their primary purpose is to extend Ethernet over its natural limitations of 100 meters. All CopperLink Ethernet extenders are sold in pairs. You get your local and remote pre-configured. Everything you need for your installation is in the box. You buy one, you don't have to go around looking or making sure you got the right unit, or did I order enough? Did I get the right thing? When you get our products, you're all set. With the 2174, we pass Ethernet over just about any form of media. Cat5, coax, twisted pair. Being able to utilize your existing infrastructure, of course, decreases downtime and saves a lot of money. We're transparent to higher layer protocols and video schemes. You don't have to worry about what we're going to interoperate with when we tell you that this will work in an IP camera extension application. It's going to work on any IP camera you use. Each Ethernet extender has a built-in bridge, and truthfully, our Ethernet extenders are plug and play. There's really no training required to use these. Installation is very simple, and minimum support's required. We get very, very few tech support calls with our Ethernet extenders. And with that, I would open it up to any questions.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Johnny. And Dennis, if you're there, maybe we can open up the audio for the participants. I don't see any other questions in the question panel. You can post those if you have any, or email myself, Justin at abptech.com, for any questions you might have, or pricing for this product and some of the other things that Johnny mentioned. Patton also is our preferred vendor for VoIP gateways, and they have a mobile surveillance platform, and any of the applications you saw today in the presentation we can help put together for you. Please check back regularly on ABP's training webpage. We tend to have a lot of really good webinars. Another one coming up next month on the IP door access solution that we briefly spoke about in here. And we like to have you guys in for training, or any new projects you're working on, just let us know. I guess that's it for me, and thank you very much, Johnny, for the presentation. It was very good and very helpful information for everyone.
Yes, thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Justin. And I guess what we can try, we'll try this. Anybody that wants to open up their mic so that they can give us an audio type question over your mic and speakers, all you need to do is just raise your hand on your GoToMeeting panel. There's a place there where you can raise your hand, and if you do that, I'll unmute your mic. Otherwise, go ahead and submit any final questions to your GoToMeeting panel. We'll catch those if they come in. Other than that, then you would want to contact Justin at abptech.com, Justin at abptech.com, for any follow-up questions that you might have after this webinar. And I don't see anybody raising their hand, so Justin, probably unless you have some last-minute questions that come in. Yeah, I saw a couple. How does the copper link handle the crossover versus straight-through problem?
It's auto. It's auto sensing.
Okay.
Okay. And I guess we'll follow up.
The 2156, the 2156 extender, 2157 extender has a little push button for the crossover. The 2174 and like the 2110, all that's auto sensing.
So basically, they can't hook it up wrong. It'll just sense.
You can't hook it up wrong. If you have a Cat5 cable, you're set.
All right.
Okay. Awesome, guys, and I think that we should have a recorded version of this, or at least a presentation that we can forward out to you all. But thanks once again for showing up to this webinar, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye now. See you at the next webinar.